Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about I can't afford to pay to park. Doordash driver gets $80 ticket after parking in free space to make delivery. She only got a $1 tip. So one of the challenges that anybody who, especially in metro areas or a very pay to park kind of neighborhood, is going to have is the concept of paying for parking. And in some cases, we like to kind of run in and run out and hope that we don't get a ticket. And in other cases, we risk a lot and sometimes we end up getting that ticket anyway. In this person's case, she not only got the parking ticket, she got an $80 ticket in a supposed free space for a $1 tip. Now, whether or not she should have taken that order in the first place is yet to be determined. So with that said, I want to go over everything that's being said in this article, how it actually is for DoorDash, UberEats, and Grubhub drivers, customers, restaurants, and the general neighborhoods in which parking is a problem and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. TikToker Vico at Vicoseven gained a following on TikTok, posting reactions to viral videos. In a recent upload, Vico posted a reaction to a viral video of a DoorDash driver responding to receiving an $80 ticket after parking in the wrong place while delivering an order. I'm going to leave his TikTok as well as his profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. Reaction content does good, even on TikTok. And in this case, a DoorDash driver got an $80 ticket and parked in the wrong place while delivering an order. Now, based on the context of that statement, I'm assuming that that parking space was specifically for a shop or whatever, and the other place in which she was going didn't have a parking space of her own because that was a pay to park or the parking lot was that busy. I know that in my area, there is a specific place near the water that I would either have to pay to park or use a 15-minute parking space that is usually taken by somebody who is breaking the rules. But who am I to say that? Either way, this person ended up getting a ticket for that, and a hefty one at that.
Okay, so this one bothers me. This DoorDash driver pulled up to her destination, right, and parked in what she thought was a free space, goes up to the 5th floor, comes back down to find an $80 ticket from the cops, and the customer only tipped her $1. How is that fair?
Yeah, that kind of bothers me too. Some parking popo are relentless about that. That area which I was talking about, there's this one guy. Literally, I can leave my car for 2 seconds, turn away, and he'll have my card snapped with his little tablet thing and have a ticket on it before I even take 3 steps away from it. Forget paying for the spot on the phone or trying to get the details of your license plate. Let's say you're renting your car because it's a very touristy area. He'll snap a ticket on you like that. And it's hefty too. It's not cheap. But damn, going up to the 5th floor, dropping off food, which I'm assuming based on the way he's saying that, they're either taking a slow-moving elevator or going up a walk-up of some sort. Maybe they're even going into a hotel of some sort. But this literally builds upon the case of why wouldn't gig workers go up to the apartment complex? Because, hey, that can happen.
So I was just doing DoorDash and I had to bring somebody food who worked in the courthouse. And they worked on the 5th floor, so I had to park my car, go to the 5th floor, drop off their food.
Okay, here's a important point on this. Again, courthouses are usually law enforcement heavy, but they also don't just let anybody pass security. The fact that they even let you pass security is astounding within itself. But damn, literally, they were really heartless about this.
I didn't want to pay to park because I can't afford to pay to park, okay? I was only going to be gone for like 4 or 5 minutes. So I found this parking lot. It didn't say anything about paying.
It didn't say anything about paying, but it'd say something like parking for X location only, or you will be towed or something like that, because that's possible too.
I parked my car in this free parking, and as I'm coming down from giving her DoorDash, I see somebody at my car. It's not a police officer. It's just like a security guard or whatever. I guess he writes tickets for people. And I see him and I sprint across the street. I'm like, please, I was just doing DoorDash. Like, please don't give me a ticket. Trying to do DoorDash.
I feel so bad
Like,
for her.
if you know you work in a fucking building where there's no parking, meet the DoorDash person outside.
Yeah.
Or something.
We got to do
Like,
better.
do you know how long it's gonna take to make $80? Like, 80 extra dollars through DoorDash? Like, and then she tipped me $1.
Ah. I feel so bad for her. What do you guys?
For me specifically, in my area, to make that kind of money doing gig apps, 8 orders minimum. That's assuming no hidden tips or otherwise. Does it make it right? No. And yes, the person who was ordering the food should have either met her outside or, and this is what I would have preferred, have a system at security saying, hey, we're going to leave it here. That's the end of it. Don't make our job harder because you don't want to meet us at the door. Like, I can't stand people like that. And they always tip poorly, too. Now, we could also make the argument of why would she accept an order for $1 on DoorDash? Let's say the order itself had a $2 base pay with a $1 tip, right? That's the absolute minimum. Why would you even consider taking it? I wouldn't have taken it. That literally showed the character of the customer right there. I don't work with crap people, and that was definitively a crap person. This video has 256,000 views and thousands of comments, sparking much discourse. The things you do for content, huh? Many viewers, similar to Vico, expressed sympathy and related to the worker's experience. The customer should have come down to grab the food. Ridiculous. I feel bad for her, one shared. Another viewer expressed a similar sentiment, saying, the same thing happened to me. That's why I don't do DoorDash anymore. I feel her pain. Now, you see, I wouldn't have just cut off DoorDash like that. You gotta pivot because the money is okay if you know what you're doing, but you gotta pivot to a direction that isn't so parking dependent. If this person has to be in a metro area, maybe consider getting on an e-bike or doing a different kind of gig work in that area. I feel bad, but at the same time, you don't just quit, you learn and you make adjustments as you go. However, for some viewers, Vico's sympathy for the Dasher didn't resonate and she felt she could have done things differently to avoid the ticket. Sadly, it's her responsibility to find a legal parking spot. Also, if there's nowhere to park, then call the customer, shared one viewer. Yeah, but that's the thing. There are some locations where there is like no parking and you kind of just have to live with that. I agree you should have called the customer, but if the customer is ghosting you after contacting them over and over again, you gotta do what you gotta do. In fact, if I were her, I would have called her, see if she picked up, started a timer. If she didn't want to pick up, if you kept messaging, kept calling, hey, there's no parking, this is actually a pretty big hazard for me to leave my car out here, blah, 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 and handle it that way, I would have understood, but this is kind of ridiculous. There's a point to where you gotta say there is a level of customer service you can't give a certain type of customer. Now, granted, also, you took a $1 tip customer, but it is what it is. She should have made sure she was in a safe parking spot. How's that anyone's fault but her own? She just said she didn't want to pay, another said. You see, it's those comments right there that literally build my point. Like, why would I want to serve a customer that refuses to understand the situation? Why should I lose money trying to deliver your food instead of you actually coming down to get it? Or instead of you understanding that this is a bad situation? Now, granted, they should have called. There should have been other moves that she made before taking a free spot or parking in a questionably legal area. Even putting up a little sign on the dashboard saying delivery in progress. Usually they leave you alone. Communication is key for everything. She should have asked them to run down and grab their food, a third suggested. I agree, 100% that should have happened. Either call them, and if they ghost you, you either leave it at security, say, hey, I tried to contact you, I tried to let you know that I couldn't find parking, and if you're gonna refuse to keep in contact with me, I don't care if you're working, so am I. You can come down and get your food. Have a day. Oh, does that sound heartless? So is giving somebody an $80 ticket for doing their job. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. Now that you pay me. There you go. There's a lot of things that I see wrong with this scenario that wants me to have a level of sympathy with her, but at the same time, I'm also like, you did this to yourself. First and foremost, accepting an order with only $1 tip. Why? Unless it was declined so many times to where the base pay ended up being legitimate and worth the time and effort, I don't see a legitimate reason why for you to accept an order like that. That's number one. Number two, if you're doing deliveries in a place where parking is going to be a significant challenge, a courthouse, a metro area, a very pay-to-park heavy location. There's a couple of places near me that are very much like that. You gotta either stay away from those places entirely, identify those locations, or change the way you do deliveries. You could go by e-bike. That's one option. You could change into a more suburban location, maybe steer away from the city-ish areas or the commercial heavy locations if you can. You could have called the customer upon arrival. I'm not hearing any of the actions you've taken ahead of time. Again, this is a reaction video from a creator that is not actually doing the deliveries himself. Does it suck that you got an $80 ticket from the cops? Yes. Absolutely. In fact, I am 100% understanding, and I totally understand how frustrating it is to get a parking ticket for doing your freaking job. And it sucks because you can't even be mad at them because they do the one thing that we all get mad at support for not doing: their freaking job. Now, again, I don't know what this free space was actually like. Is there a sign saying that you could only park here for this restaurant? Was it not actually a parking area? Is there information that has yet to be discussed on the subject? I'm sure. But all in all, just do yourself a favor. If it's going to cost you more money to deliver in a certain area, if it's going to be harder for you to deliver the food than just leave it in the lobby, just do yourself a favor and don't put yourself in those positions to begin with, because $2 plus $1 for the tip is $3 for an $80 ticket. You just lost $77. I hear you. It sucks. I understand how frustrating that can be, but don't put yourself in that position. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.